Hi, my name is Noah. I run Imprezza Media with my girlfriend Mel, and I'm a graphic designer by day and photographer by also day, sometimes night, depending on how frisky I'm feeling with the camera, because low light can be a little interesting, and that's why days like today I'm using my phone. I've got an iPhone 13 because it's, the 3 cameras on it is the best in the industry. They joke about it, but it genuinely does help compared to, say, my multi-$1,000 big body, because the HDR imaging on it in particular, it's what I'm using today. It compiles it instantly and does a fantastic job of doing it, sometimes better than what my camera can do. So I got into photography in, I want to say it was 2009 or 2010 on a family trip. My first cell phone that I had. I just took a picture of it was a Mayan temple, and just the way that the sun was positioned behind the top of the temple, so you couldn't see it, but it had that sort of halo effect coming around it, and that was the first photo I'd ever taken. And fast track a couple of years, I'm doing graphic design in school, and photography just happens to be a natural sidekick to that. So you get into the cars, and it's a pretty easy. You can see how that transitions quite nicely into social media in particular. So trying to make a business out of that is all it's all fallen into place pretty naturally. Didn't have to do much forcing of it. But today we've come out to one of my go-to spots. It's just this covered parking lot in the backside of Cambridge. It's really great for cars like mine and Juddy's, because we've got paints that have a lot of color variance, and when you have a lot of bright light on it, it shows how different the car can look. But when you have these low light situations, you have the highlights kicking off, and then right down here you get the shadows, so you really have a nice spectrum of what the paint really is. You don't see that full effect in the sun, but it does come with its challenges. Like I was saying, if I was using my main camera today, I'd have to shoot in HDR, which requires shooting 3 photos from the same position, which can be a little challenging when you're not shooting on a tripod. But my iPhone, I don't have to shoot 3 photos at once because of its fancy digital wizardry. I shoot 1 photo, and it has the same level of HDR coverage as my camera does on pretty much the same sensor quality. The megapixel count is very similar when you're looking at that side of the data. Since I've picked up the automotive side of photography, I've definitely gained a lot in the ways of a social scene, in the sense that when I was shooting photos before, it would always be on my own, maybe with one other person, but they were sort of for my own gain. Not really, when I put them on social media, it wasn't like everybody was looking for those kind of photos. It was just kind of oh, cool, that's a pretty photo to look at. But when I got into the car scene, suddenly there's a much wider audience that's much more easily reached, in the sense of I can post a photo of anybody's car at any car meet, and people want to see that because they want to know what was at that car meet that they couldn't go to, or get to see another side of the meet that maybe they didn't even see if they were there. That has definitely helped in the sense that it's a lot easier to grow on social media and grow the business. But then, yeah, the social side of it is I go to car meets, and people come up and talk to me every once in a while and go, "Hey, you're that dude that runs that media account. You want to come take a photo of my car?" And it's those kind of interactions that doesn't make you feel famous, but it makes you feel like the community knows you, and it's just that much more welcoming.